gonna have a little bit of a pretzel. Oh, here we go.
Hello. I believe we are YouTube Live. Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Art in the Basin. My name is Amy Joy. Welcome to our open mic. We have a special featured reader here for you tonight. And let me introduce the man who will take you through this hour. Please help me welcome author of 4 novels, once known as the minor god in the poetry Chicago scene. Please help me welcome Tim W. Brown, everyone.
Woo! Woo, 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 woo. Hey, hi, everybody. How you doing tonight? Thanks for coming out. Cafe appreciates your support. Well, as Amy Joy was saying, we are here tonight to present to you Scarlet Gomez. We'll talk to her in a minute. I was like looking outside from the cafe inside to outside earlier, and I saw just how dark it is. And, you know, we had the time change Sunday, I guess it was, and suddenly it becomes dark at 4 in the afternoon. And, you know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with myself with this. It was only a couple of months ago when we were here in full daylight, right? We looked outside. You can look at our videos and pictures online, and you'll see behind the readers, outside is full daylight. But now it is totally dark. So I thought, in kind of commemoration of that, I'd read a couple of short poems about the dark. This is from poemhunter.com, or it's also an app, Poem Hunter. They have literally thousands and thousands of poems available to read by poets famous and not so famous. I'll have a couple of famous poet poems here for you. The first is by a writer who's really known more for being a fiction writer. He wrote The Red Badge of Courage, which everybody has read, right? In grade school or high school or junior high, one of those places, even college, you probably read The Red Badge of Courage. But Stephen Crane was also a poet as well. And, you know, in those days, you could make some money being a poet because you get published in, you know, newspapers and so on. And so you would establish a big name, and he had one, of course. So this was called I Was in the Darkness. I was in the darkness. I could not see my words, nor the wishes of my heart. Then suddenly there was a great light. Let me into the darkness again. Stephen Crane, everybody. What else we have on here? Hello out there in Zoom land. We're in the room here, and you are out there on Zoom. So thank you for tuning in. We'll get to the open mic after our reader. But first, I want to read one more darkness poem. This is by Charles Bukowski, kind of the, you know, underground poet's poet. Died many years ago now, but he has a huge fan base and is just really almost a legend nowadays. This is called Friends Within the Darkness. I can remember starving in a small room in a strange city, shades pulled down, listening to classical music. I was young. I was so young, it hurt like a knife inside, because there was no alternative except to hide as long as possible. Not in self-pity, but with dismay at my limited chance, trying to connect. The old composers, Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms were the only ones who spoke to me, and they were dead. Finally, starved and beaten, I had to go into the streets to be interviewed for low-paying and monotonous jobs by strange men behind desks, men without eyes, men without faces, who would take away my hours, break them, piss on them. Now I work for the editors, the readers, the critics, but still hang around and drink with Mozart, Bach, Brahms, and the bee. Some buddies, some men, sometimes all we need to be able to do is continue alone, are the dead, rattling the walls that close us in. Charles Bukowski, everyone. Wonderful underground poet. We're here at Monomore Coffee and Wine every other Tuesday. And we appreciate the support going almost on 7 years now. We're actually in our 7th year, kind of emerging into it, starting this fall. We have some exciting events coming up in future weeks, so please stay tuned for that. Let me find, well, just right to it. You all are here for Scarlet, right? Yeah, so let's get to her. But first we have to, do the bio, as always. Scarlet Gomez is a queer Dominican Bronx-based poet and writer. She's had several short stories and poems published in literary journals, such as Persephone's Daughters, Promethean Magazine, Crab's Fat Magazine, Philadelphia Stories, the A3 Review, and Writers HQ. She most recently published her first collection of poetry titled How I Remember It. I do look forward to hearing more of that. Scarlet joined us in the summer when we were the opening act for Inwood Artworks Film Works Alfresco series down in Washington Heights. Unfortunately, there was a 23-mile-an-hour wind that day, and they did not show the film, but they did allow us to present our reading, our opening act that we had planned. Scarlet was a member of that, along with Ron Mark, Trenkler Thompson, who's a follower of ours and good friend of ours, and of course, DJ Santiago. So anyway, let's continue. Scarlet is an LGBTQ and mental health advocate with lived experience working to create safe spaces for other queer youths to express their art in the Bronx in the form of Poetry House, a queer-centric poetry reading and open mic carved out after experiencing homophobia and transphobia at other events throughout the city, which, just shocks and amazes me, but there you go. Everybody, please welcome Scarlet Gomez. This is purely for the Zoom.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me? Okay, yes? Okay, great. So my name is Scarlet. I'm a Dominican lesbian poet from New York. I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. It's gonna be a little hard with holding this, but I got this. Canela y habichuela con dulce and gabbana. Hot plátano couture dipped in chocolate fruit. Sprouting coffee beans and sugar cane on an island of folded suggestions. Littered with room keys, hungry dogs, and chicken bones, I am otherwise the road that leads back to the resort from El Cachon. I am the warmer side of the sun in December. I am of the looted gold. I'm a Dominican that lives in New York. Femme, queer, lesbian, heart swirls amid city smog and a choir of sirens. I have always known who this flor de oro belongs to, and in New York, I am able to scream it, but back home I would have been hound. Back home, I would have been marked, arrow on my back, clothes peeled, spine pressed so far into the ground, the med would have turned me into strange fruit. I'd be uprooted yellow. Mixed memories of waxy skin and weeping bananas. of the tin roof between the rainstorm and dry floor and all the holes in between that haven't been fixed. In DR, we don't say I'm sorry, we just pretend it didn't happen. We bury its stench with coffee grounds until one day it is gurgling from the stovetop, pouring into your favorite mug, a backwash of bitterness, recalling the wounds our minds were too young to hop over, burning our tongues with its overexposure. Now I dance merengue over hurricanes, pulling poetry out of Yankee hats como cucharadas de jarabe. But no amount of honey and onions can fix this sick. In DR, we don't believe in cries for help. If the screw is loose, we let the whole shit go to hell. I say I'm Dominican, and in New York, that means I'm hypervigilant of its ethnic cleansing. How these clothes still smell like burning birth certificates. How our mountains are full of trees, but its compost is black bodies and bold women. We've got school buses packed with unaccompanied children taken to the border, and the purger says for a few quarters, I can import you back to the place you were kidnapped. Everyone talks about how great it is to be Dominican, how proud they are to be Dominican, how full of gold they are to be Dominican. I wish I could feel joy in waving my flag, that my heart would swell when I step on its land, but its terrain curves to the center of the heavens, wrapping me in a snow globe, and all I see is mal de ojo. A whole people treated like a curse you cannot pray away. I'm Dominican, but I am not your Dominican. I am without wide hips and sharp tongue, isolated at the parade. I don't celebrate this diluted history. I don't feel safe when who I am is as ancient as soil and the police have to be bribed for me to get by. I don't feel safe, and the thing is, I don't want to choose where I feel safe. I want to be welcomed. I am tired of my presence being bold. I want it to be expected. I'm a New York Dominican lesbian, otherwise two-spirit, otherwise sacred, with hands between two worlds, and I'm over being pulled in two different directions. I want to bring them together. I want to know that when I enter a room, there will be a chair waiting for me. And when I speak, the world will stop to listen. Thank you. Thank you. So this next one, so I guess story time. I recently hosted like a Halloween costume party open mic, and it was the first time I did kind of like a contest. And this was in collaboration with another organization called BX Writers. So I came up with two prompts. One of them was Hocus Pocus. The other one was Autumn. And Hocus Pocus, I had asked people to kind of write about a time when they unveiled a truth about something or someone that led them to believe something wasn't true. And then for Autumn, you know, autumn is coming, the leaves are falling, we're letting go of things, life is changing. So this actually came out of a much longer poem inspired by Hocus Pocus, but I call it a reflection. I give my body to a woman, and I let what she does with me be her business. At night, I press into her heartbeat, where I can hear the bombs dropping around our bed. Her breaths are bird wings, and I think, how lucky are we? I have her and she has me. I hold her holding me. I go where she goes. She and her I love yous taste like mangoes and orange juice. When she is asleep and I am crying, her hand finds me. We are lucky, and it is somehow unfair to listen to her breathe, to hear from my bed the distance between tomorrow and nothingness, that my greatest grief is imagined, and for others it is already happening. What a strange time to be alive where we are, that from my bed we can shut ourselves off to genocide when it becomes too much. So yeah, that was a commentary on what's going on currently. And I hope that as people, nobody will stand for genocide. Okay, so I'm going to read from my book now. This is what it looks like. If you can see through the light, it's called How I Remember It. Oh, sorry. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So on Amazon, it is $15, but I did bring some copies, which I sell for $12 in person. So you avoid paying $15 plus that $2 taxes and fees on Amazon. That makes it $17. So, like support or whatever. So I'm just going to read a few from here. Okay. This first one is called My Business. My ex and I were black and white film. Dreams of a blue house in desert heat where even stone can rot. My first everything everyone sees, and there is no one to talk to about this. We happen to each other. Selfishly, oil spilling into water, taking all the coral reefs with us. I had a life I needed to say goodbye to. One day on Fox Street or Leggett Avenue, you will say you resent me for that night at the Liberty Inn, and you will repeat it again one night in Ireland, tucked away in the guest room of a friend, and again in your bedroom during a fight, and again over coffee 2 years later, and again whenever it suits you. Okay. This one is called How Do You Like Being Married? Marriage is fun. I am all in with everything I feel. Even in conflict, it is all or nothing with me. But I can't help but notice the switch. Deeper ponds and more snapping turtles. Impossible to feel the bottom with my feet without losing them. Vigilant of my hands when they dip into the water. I watch them settle onto the muddy bottom. And when everything is quiet, your mother comes to me with cold hands to put a blanket over my shoulders. See, we both had wishes living at the bottom of the pond. And I wondered why I was so scared to leave. I had so much I was willing to shed. I think we made a mistake. Maybe we both just didn't want to be wrong. Okay. So this book chronicles my time with my ex-husband. I was in a I don't even know how long. I was in a relationship for like a while, and then we got married, as most people in relationships for a while will do. But it wasn't a marriage that made either of us happy, and eventually became very toxic emotionally for both of us. And there were a lot of reasons for that, but I think the thing I took away from this is that when things started to go bad, he told me I couldn't talk to anybody about it. I couldn't tell anyone about it. I can't tell my friend what's going on with me because it's his business, and then I would be talking about his business and spreading his information out there. And I kind of had to keep all of this to myself. And this is what this book became. It was just everything that I couldn't tell anyone, I had written down here. This one is called Noticing. Even if you let me go, you'd keep me around for what I can give you. Not what I mean, not who I am, not what we like, but for how my cup can fill yours, how I make your plate, how I keep these walls from smelling like smoke. That was a short one. Sweet tooth. I am craving gulab jamun. Between the tight spaces of my teeth, arroz con leche rolling around my tongue to bite into ras malai, into a petit entremets. I want a Mr. Softy soft serve double cone with chocolate and rainbow sprinkles, chocolate crumbs, or maybe dipped. I won't really know until I get to the truck and the wishes pour out of my mouth como agua para chocolate. Can someone hand me a slice of crepe cake? A tall, sweaty glass of mangonada with a spicy tamarind straw, maybe a slice of peach cheesecake, anything but a basic, boring slice of red velvet or strawberry shortcake, anything but that New York cheesecake or those Milk Bar pastries, anything but those goddamn Italian bakery rainbow cookies. I don't want anything that sounds a bit like you. Honest. Our conversations were riddles. I could never get a straight answer out of you. It was always, you aren't ready to hear the truth. Do you believe me when I say I have searched for all the reasons that would make you think that? I still wear this small wedding band. I still have your last name. And somehow your truth is not mine still. The couples therapist said you are the one seeing all the babies coming down the river, and I'm the one trying to stop them from coming. She didn't see the reality. The curled lip and raised brow at the babies who were cold and hungry. How you wrap them only after they've exhausted themselves from crying. Fed them only when even exhaustion wouldn't quiet them. Let them fester in their own waste because it can wait until it couldn't anymore. I wish you would just answer me straight. If everything with me is so hard, I want to know why you won't let me leave. By the end of the third hour, I just agree to stop. I can't understand a word out your mouth anymore. I don't even want the answer. This one is called Dear God. It is hard to be with myself. My arms shake as I work to pull out the nails of crucifixion, confess. How do I confess? Lattice partition in a dimly lit room, I see his face, its roundness, its open grave in my hands and across my fingers, a church of all my wrongs, whole verses at 10, at 12, at 16. Reconciliation is a proverb I can turn to. It's not a cloud I can see. I don't even know if it's real. Its thunder just rumbles again and again. Who else can hear it coming from miles away? Dear God, I need a lift. I need direction. Where do I put my body? How do I rest my head? Do I just keep saying it? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry for everything. Sorry, my glasses keep like slipping down, because I'm like reading. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Burberry. Okay, explore. The difference is sinking in. It's been a while since I've had someone I could buy flowers or spoken my tongue, who gifts me home-baked apple fritters and small bags of goldfish, arrangements of chocolate-coated fruit. I'm keeping my eyes away from the other footprints when I get these. Hands over my ears when your phone rings. A smile on my face when you put me in your back pocket after dancing on me with your fingertips. Still, I see the road has gotten lost where we are. What are we doing out here in the woods? I dream of numbers, of strangers whose names I know. And one afternoon, I opened my mailbox to the Empress. There is something this world is trying to tell me. Something big is about to happen. Something in me is going to change, but it's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen with you. Thank you. This one is called Better. I have entered that future I obsess so much about. Diverged from the two paths before me by forging a third. I can see so much more of myself, where I meet the rest of the world, that I don't want to die anymore. that I am thinking of what I might do tomorrow. Every day I rise, asking myself, what's next? So this is actually the last poem. Yeah, this is the last poem that I have prepared for you all. This is a love poem. It's called Remember This No Matter What. I have lived with the devil and have walked away with God's eyes. I see everything as it was meant to be. You are there at the beginning, at the meeting of the mind and the heart, the branch that splits the tree, the oregano beneath my pillow at night. I wear shadow of the grooves of your body, dreaming of brown eyes and dark eyebrows, the honey drip of your voice. I see how things could have been different, and it is the price of free will. Thinking it is just in my memory you will stay. Yet you are conducted by the palm of God's hand, and here you are again at the beginning. No matter how everything around it changes, like you too see me with his eyes, the heart that meets the heart, the roots that revive the flowers every spring, capable of knowing each other only deeply. I will always keep your name in my prayers. I will always keep you in my heart. You are the last good thing about New York City. You will always be my favorite part. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna pass it to AJ.
A little bit of a reset here. Thank you so much, Scarlet. That was such a great reading. I was really affected. Poem where you said you couldn't tell anyone about, sort of the troubles. And I just kept thinking, silence equals death, right? And we poets are kind of fighting against silence. Too many people are silent in the face of all kinds of terrible stuff. Anyway, just want to let everybody know that reading that you just heard was underwritten by poets and writers in conjunction with, NYC Arts and the New York City Council. Is that correct? Who? Cultural arts. Okay. NYC Cultural Arts. Cultural events. Okay. Yeah, so a number of different agencies and organizations contributed to this. So thank you so much to them. And as always, thank you so much to Monomora Coffee and Wine for hosting us. We're at 238th Street and Broadway in the Bronx, New York. Let me tell you about a couple of upcoming shows we have going. We're here every other Tuesday, as I mentioned. Oh man, now this stupid Facebook just lost what I had. I had all the events lined up here. Here we go. So, in 2 weeks, November 21st, 2023, we're going to be hearing music. At Art in the Basin, we not only do spoken word and poetry and storytelling and fiction and stuff like that, but we've done music and comedy and so on and so forth. But next time it will be music by Theo Getzoff and Luis Cortez. We know Theo from a long time ago. There's another open mic that occurs on Tuesdays here in the Northwest Bronx. Up the hill at Ambielbach Cafe is another open mic every Tuesday, which is largely music-based, but they also do comedy, and I've read poetry there before, and they've tolerated me, So Theo's great. He's kind of a prodigy in some ways. So I hope you join us for that. Then after that, we have, as I said, something different than spoken word, comedy by Linda San Lucas. She's a Bronx-based comedian, is that correct? Bronx-based stand-up comic. So please do come out for that. And finally, and this is just sort of like breaking news here. Oop, that wasn't the right thing. I want to find, oh, here, see all events. See, I should just pay attention to what the screen prompts tell me. Well, on the 19th of December, so that'd be 2 weeks after December 5th, after Linda San Lucas, is a neighborhood poet who's practically a legend in the LGBTQ world. He was an activist going back almost to the very beginning of the gay rights movement at Stonewall. And so the late 60s and 70s, he was quite active. He's a wonderful poet. He's widely published. He lives here in Riverdale. His name is Perry Brass. So please have everybody come out to hear Perry, because Perry is just great. He's a great reader too, by the way. He has like this long resume, but he's also a great poet and a great reader. So do check that out. So I think we really don't have anybody in the room here that's signed up for the open mic. So maybe can we go to the Elegant Ivory Duo who's here? What do I have to do? Mute my...
Okay. Hello, are we up? I don't know yet. There you go.
Hello.
Well, I guess you're hearing us, and it's always wonderful to be back here. And I'd like to acknowledge Amy Joy and Tim for making the trek down to Studio 353 on West 48th Street and seeing us in the Halloween special. And that was a treat to perform for them in live and in person, because they never saw us live and in person. We are just a figment of your imagination here on the screen. But we're going to do for you a song here tonight that I wrote a while ago. We might have performed this a couple of years ago, but that's ancient history, so we'll do it again. One of the various hairstyles that caught on and became rather popular did not involve a barber being able to style your hair at all. They didn't have to style your hair, but it became a very popular hairstyle. And that's what this song is about. Okay?
Yeah, I think so. Slick hairstyles inspire our passion. For great cuts we've opened the vault. But some folks have flair and have cashed in. They did the in thing. They got bald. Ben Kingsley and old Alfred Hitchcock would keep their fans fully enthralled. They were both starstruck when Magoo played Puck. They did the in thing. They got bald. Yul Brynner and Michael Air Jordan had moves that would make their fans scream. With skulls nice and smooth, they'd get in a groove, and under bright lights heads would beam. Solar panels for some love machines. Bruce Willis, Shaq, and George Foreman were on the ride for the long haul. They'd follow their dreams and make fortunes. They did the in thing. They got bald. Orphan Annie loved rich Daddy Warbucks. Humpty Dumpty lost hair on the wall. Wayne Brady lost his locks and got big bucks. They did the in thing. They got bald. Patrick Stewart commands past the Hubble. Elmer Fudd utters, "Hey Wabbit, halt!" Old Yoda speaks softly, so lovable he is. They did the in thing. They got bald. Uncle Fester, Hulk Hogan the wrestler, Al Roker's no ogre, he's smiling. Alopecia meant their hair came and went. So Dr. Phil and Magic Johnson, you cannot braid a bald head, please stop trying. Run right to the barber, quick dash in, especially if your love life has stalled. That razor will slash, you'll look dashing. Go do the in thing and get bald. With all that clean shaven comes hot misbehaving. Go do the in thing and get bald. I wanna get bald for you, yes you, and nobody else but you. Why not do the in thing like Montel? Why not do the in thing like Churchill? Why not do the in thing? His hair waved.
Yeah, wave goodbye.
And get bald. And get bald. Go get bald. Thank you. Elegant Ivory. Woo! I love when he does that to my head.
Able to do another tune, or
Actually, I'd like to read a couple of poems if it's possible. Is that possible? Hold on.
You poem?
Yeah, I'm gonna get home now.
There, you don't have your poems yet. Oh dear. Let's see. Do I have a poem to read while you're looking for yours?
You better come over here.
Well, no, I have one here actually.
Yeah, but you have to read from people.
No, well, not necessarily.
All right, I'll turn off the sound.
Okay.
Okay.
I am opening it up.
Everything okay, Elegant Ivory Duo?
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Let me start again very quickly. This is called Maples Changing. Maples were aflame not too long ago. Their leaves once hung thick in vivid shades of orange and scarlet. Now more leaves are falling. Tattered lacy curtains of ochre, gold, and green reveal dark trunks and branches, standing, stretching, stark against wintry, darkening sky. That was written Thursday, December 3rd, 2020. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. You have time for me to do a poem? All right, how do we get out of you? All right, here we go. I'll turn off your- I don't know. Okay. This is a poem which is actually somewhat autobiographical. My great uncle used to sell pickles. A truck full of pickles once cruised the streets of Brooklyn. Not exactly good humor. When the ice truck stopped making deliveries, mothers lacked a good reason to wait outdoors. Home refrigerators changed how mothers shop. Though I never met my great uncle, earning a living this way could have easily have soured him. His next employment might have been a jarring experience or something to relish. And one other, this is out of the insane corners of my brain. It's entitled Impossibilities. Do gargoyles ever gargle? Do drama queens ever act in dramas in Queens? Is a mile ever found in smiles? If a company rep signs a petition, is that repetition? If the same rep ever turned into a bug, would he have been reproached? If I glued silver stars on $1 bills, would it be Starbucks? If Haley used Ajax in a spaceship, what would happen to Comet? A planet filled with applications, would it be Planet of the Apps? If Peggy caught a cold while ice skating, would we call her Peggy Phlegm? If a jet were made from a single log, would there be a jet log? A handkerchief company in the Bronx, the New York Hankies. If Walter went into wintry cold without a coat, wind chill. If Sam were ever delighted, would he be known as Sam? Thank you.
May I read a poem?
You read it, Paul?
One more.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Elegant Ivory Duo. We had to switch over from the room to Zoom, or actually from the Zoom to the room, right? Yeah, it's like otherwise we get like this weird feedback that just emanates and just destroys like whole neighborhoods in the Bronx when it goes out. But thank you very much. Thank you. It was only last week, right, that we saw you.
Yep.
And it was such a treat to see you live, and I highly recommend it to everyone who wants to see the Elegant Ivory Duo. Please do check them out. They are great. And as well, John hosted the Big Table poetry. It's Big Table, right?
Poetry table.
The workshop that happens every Thursday. I took part with that, in that, as well as a good friend of Art in the Basin, someone that we are really fond of, and in fact, did a workshop herself earlier this fall. Diane Ward, love to see her, love her poetry, and it was really a great experience. I wrote kind of a silly poem, but sometimes I think I'm kind of a silly person. Anyhow, let's, conclude here. Please do check us out again in 2 weeks here at Monomore Coffee and Wine Live and on Zoom. Just check us out on social media at AITB Art in the Basin on Facebook, and Art in the Basin on Instagram, and Art in the Basin on YouTube. We do post videos of these readings, so do check them out. And I think we're going to have a really good video tonight. Yeah, really great video tonight. So do check that out. Let me turn it back over to our co-host with the most, Amy Joy, who will allow us to exit the cafe with her traditional benediction.
All right, AJ back here, or Amy Joy, whatever. Since open mic is kind of crickets over here, we are very grateful for Scarlet Gomez to come out and share her work with us. Yes, we are here live in a room. I'm going to read from my book. You could find it on Amazon. It is The Purest Kind. It's a wonderful Christmas gift, holiday gift. You don't celebrate Christmas, right? Right, Scarlet? Books are the way to go, okay? Keep reading, guys. So I'm gonna read this one that our featured reader picked. And there are two sides to my poems. So one is just like a little message to myself, and one is the poem that I actually wrote. So this one says, bittersweet ignorance is all. And the poem is called That Girl. I don't want to be that girl lost in life of another's to participate in love's play. That girl lingering, trailing like a tail in love's limbo sway. That girl left tear-stained, stung by love's deliberate disregard. That girl believing blindly in lies, cosmetically covering the love when jarred. That girl staying stationed at a dilapidated love post. That girl remaining hollowed, worn, sheer, a love ghost. That girl seeking stability on someone else's pedestal. That girl who didn't believe in her natural beauty's potential. Thank you. So I'm proud to say I've never really been that girl, but I kind of do have a love post that I haunt every now and again. Okay. So on that note, we end things the same way here all the time because consistency is key. 3 little words, say it with me in the room, out there in Zoom land, out there in YouTube land. 3 words are let love lead, en toi, en du toi. Let love lead. That's right. Let love lead. But if you're here with me in 2023 and we're hunkering down on 2024, we want to lead, let love. Oh, you guys know that one. Oh my God, that's great. Yes, you want to lead with love and let that love in and out. All right. You guys have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. Scarlet Gomez, Tim W. Brown, right? All right. Ciao.